Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome to the Arrogant Witch channel. I am Witch Naima, and this channel is for emerging witches who are ready to come out of fear and hiding and isolation and into full power so you can do the work, the distinct work you were born for, be paid well for it, and live bone deep fulfillment. So today's topic is how to be and live beyond fear. How to live beyond fear as a witch. Before I get into today's topic, which I'm going to give you what you can begin to do immediately to start to live beyond fear and make it a habit. So, a few announcements. One, I am going to be here on YouTube every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern until the last Monday in March, and then I'll reassess from there. Again, I'm going to be here on YouTube every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern until the last Monday in March. And then I'll reassess if I'll continue and if I do, how and all that. Um, and then also, the 5 Death Gates to Full Power reveal is happening this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And to get the full 5 death gates, because today, one of the ways that I'm going to share with you about how to live beyond fear, I'm going to give you one of the 5 death gates that is shared on the full 5 death gates reveal on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm starting to, there's just so much going on. So those are the announcements. Now, how do you live beyond fear? So this is very important for you to know. For those of you who are choosing where you're going to invest your time, your attention, and your money. Over here at Arrogant Witch, we are in the business of helping folks who are supernatural, witch and otherwise, come out of hiding. Like, this is what we do. And we also deal in full power. It's so important as different folks have come into my field over the last 3 weeks or so. And I'm realizing it's reminders of the truth that there are degrees of power. And your degree of power is based on your connection with the unseen, spirits, ancestors, your connection with the unseen, and your level of commitment, which is done behind the scenes. Nobody sees it, knows it, but you and the entities that you are in relationship with. And so your degree of power is based on the level of the vows that you have made, period. No one can give it to you. Um, Nobody can take it away from you. You don't, nothing earthly can give it to you or take it away. Nothing in the human sphere can give it to you or take it away. So I know your power based on how you interact with me. I'm a woman who's in full power. I live beyond fear. Therefore, I can facilitate an experience that helps folks to come into living beyond fear. And when I say full power, what I mean is the ability to literally take your imagination, the dreams of your heart, the instructions that you get based on your relationship with the unseen, and bring them down into physical form here on the earth. Okay. That is hard. Everybody gets downloads. Okay. You talk to any human being on the earth, they'll say they got a sense to do something. In the Western world, we use the word download. Other people say God. Other people say, I heard a voice say, do this. Or somebody say, I had a feeling to do this. I had a strong sense that I should do that. I had a this, right? And how many people actually respond? I'm going to invite you right now to like this video. And thank you to the person who just liked it. You just reminded me to remind people to like the video. Like the video and subscribe. If you are an emerging witch, okay, who's ready to come out of fear and hiding, and you have found value here and you want more people to see this, like this video and then also subscribe so that you are, and then click a bell. There's a notification bell where when I go live, which I will be doing every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern until the last Monday in March, and then I'll reassess. However, so the kind, this is full power, and most people don't want full power. Um, Full power means you have no attachment to good and bad. You have no attachment to an identity that helps you stay who you are. You have no attachment to anything here on earth. And the ones that you do have, it's choice. You're not like unconscious binds. You're not locked behind trauma. You have the skill to dissolve and penetrate any impact trauma has had on you. You can deal with any human being, from the most filthy, porous, low human, up to the most reverent, benevolent beings walking the earth. And you're literally boundless, and you live boundless. Okay. This is just so rare. It's just so astounding and mind blowing. And it is hard to get to this place. And it is such a commitment to get to this place. And it's a very narrow, lonely path to get to this place. And most people are not going to get to this place. And I've been idealistic my entire life. And I mean, I used to just so be like, just so like anybody can do it, have it, right? And to a degree, that is true. And multiple truths are true at the exact same time. What's also true at the exact same time, that anybody can have it, is that most people are going to remain inside of the binds of being in a body on earth, and all the emotionality with uh, uh, emotionality and senses of being in a body here on earth. Let me know in the chat if you know exactly what I mean, right? This is just so hilarious. The dynamism of it. It's spectacular. It is spectacular. So, when I talk about living beyond fear, I'm talking about the ultimate. Okay. The ultimate. Okay. So, of the 5 death gates to full power, which, by the way, the entire 5 death gates is shared on Wednesday at the reveal. The link is going to be beneath this video for you to join. This is a webinar that's happening on Wednesday for emerging witches who are seriously ready to come out of fear and hiding, and either know or strongly sense that the arrogant witch community is for you. One of those 5 death gates to full power is a willingness to make living uncomfortably a lifestyle. A willingness to commit to living uncomfortably as a lifestyle. What is this? What does this look like? So let's get into real life, what life really looks like living in fear, and when you are navigating it, right? So remember I said earlier that we all get downloads. You wake up you had a dream, or you wake up in the morning and you got a clear instruction to do something. Spirit said, do that, right? And it could be something that just feels so like outside of the domain of how you see yourself. neat, right? It could be something that just seems so like scary and like why and right. And so you don't do it. You don't make the phone call spirit told you to make. You don't buy the thing that spirit told you to buy. You don't go do the thing that spirit told you to do, right? And so let's make up a situation, right? And you ask yourself, well, why didn't I do that? Typically, I was afraid. I was afraid that if I did that, if I called her, if I had that conversation with him, if I told him the truth about this, that if I bought this thing, that if I went to this place, that X was going to happen, right? That he was going to do this, she was going to say that, they were going to think this, right? You were afraid of some result that was going to happen. Now, when we stop, when we like look at it, back away from it, and just look at, okay, what if that thing happens? Like, take the emotion out of it and just back up and look at it with a wider lens. And you say, okay, well, if that did happen, okay, so what? What's the and I asked you, so what if that did happen? What if he did say you crazy? What if he did decide he didn't want to be with you anymore? What if she did become angry and didn't want to be your friend anymore? What if your mom did disapprove of you coming out of what okay, so what if that did happen? What's the issue with that? Why does that scare you? And you may say something like, well, because then I won't feel loved and approved of by my mom. Well, because then if my husband doesn't want to be with me anymore, then I'm alone and I'm a single woman. And then if my wife doesn't approve and she doesn't like that, then you know it's gonna be dissension in the house and she's not gonna give me no pussy. And I'm gonna feel that's not gonna be cool. I don't want to feel that. Or right, if we start digging down up in there, there's a feeling that you don't want to have. I want you to just think about everything that Spirit has told you to do just in the last year. We could go way back, but let's just focus on the last year, 2021. Everything you got a sense to do this. Your first mind told you to do that. Your gut told you to do that. The ancestors told you to do that. Spirit told you to do that. God told you to do that. And you didn't do it. Why didn't you do it? Because there was a result you didn't want to happen. And you didn't want that result to happen because you didn't want to feel. You didn't want to feel whatever the result, the consequence was going to give you. So, what are you supposed to do with that? Because that's always going to be there. One, it's why we tell you in the five death gates to full power, which is our way of giving you like a disclaimer. This is what you're signing up for. That you agree and you are willing to make living uncomfortably a lifestyle. Like, that's your life now. I live an uncomfortable life. I commit to making living uncomfortable comfortable because that's actually what happens over time. You start to be comfortable in discomfort. So, how do you deal with this? In coming into full power, remember, we're talking about ultimate living beyond fear, where it no longer stops you from taking the action. And you're in the same place. You've just rearranged the furniture, but you're in the same place Christmas 2022. How do we avoid that from happening? I would also like to do something real quick. So, this a lot of the alchemical exercises and work that I give members of the Arrogant Witch community and my private clients is difficult. So keep that in mind that what I'm getting ready to share with you to a lot of you it may seem difficult. But that's also why the Arrogant Witch community exists and why we also give you the disclaimer it to living uncomfortably. Because in living uncomfortably, you become comfortable in it. So I'm also streaming on IG Live. That's what I just did. I turned on my IG Live because I want to, okay, direct. Um, so You are in a body. You're going to be in a body until you die. Okay. And in a body, there will always be a sensation attached to your fear. Next time you feel yourself feeling fear, I want you to notice how you feel in your body. Notice how you're breathing. Notice what's going on with your solar plexus. For those of you who don't know, your solar plexus is like, okay. Notice what's happened, noticing the tightness that you feel in your body. Notice how you might feel yourself like that. Notice how you might feel yourself kind of like locked in your body in a certain position when you're right in the middle of the decision making process. Welcome in. I am currently live on YouTube discussing how to live beyond fear as a witch. And you'll have some kind of sensation, okay? Your body has portals of entry where you release energy and receive energy. Those primary portals, and listen, you're a porous being, so they can enter at any different point. But the ones that contain the most potent frequency where you either discharge energy or receive energy are your genitals, your heart, and your crown. Those are the primary places where you release energy and you receive energy. Your genitals, your heart, and your crown. Okay. So, one of the areas where I have developed great mastery is learning how to. Uh, um, so, it's different things at different moments. You could be alchemizing, you could be transmitting, or you could be integrating. It just depends on what stage in the process you are in. So this is advanced, and we help you do this inside the Arrogant Witch community. So if this seems like a lot, you want to come into the Arrogant Witch community, and you start that process by coming to the 5 Death Gates reveal. So I want you to imagine you're dealing with a decision that you're making, and you're afraid to make that decision. You're afraid that if you really walk your unique path as a witch, you'll feel alone, right? Your mom will disapprove, your husband will disapprove, your wife will disapprove, right? Fill in the blank, whatever your fear is, whatever decision it is that you're making, okay? Notice your fear. So this is an active thing, right? Notice the fear, okay? Then feel the fear all the way. Like this, the feeling that you don't want to feel, you feel it in that moment. Okay. One of the big fears that witches have is rejection, being ostracized, and being alone. These are some of the chief fears that witches feel with coming out of hiding: being rejected, being ostracized, and feeling alone. Welcome in. I am on my YouTube channel where I am every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern until March. So if you want more, I encourage you to come over and subscribe to the channel. So let's say your thing is fear of rejection, since that's such a popular fear. Fear of rejection, right? What would fear of rejection feel like? It's like a sting, right? Let's say you put together content based on your distinct work, a message that nobody else is talking about, that only you have it, right? We're talking about distinct work, okay? You don't see anybody talking about it. You scared to talk about it. You feel like people gonna call you crazy. You feel like people gonna be like, that's not of the Bible. That's not of God, right? You scared to put it out there and really stand behind it. And you imagine when you think about this alone, you imagine that people gonna be like, bitch, get that shit out of here. Like I used to fear before I came out. See how I can laugh about that now? Before I was terrified. See, this is what you get to when you learn how to live beyond fear. So the rejection feels like a sting. It feels like a ow. It feels like a like you want to cry, like I don't want to feel like, because we all want to belong, right? We want to belong. We want to feel like we're part of something. We want to be celebrated for what we're doing. We want it to be wonderful. And yes, girl. Yes, king. We want that. And to imagine that when we put something out there that is so disruptive, that is so against status quo, and that people are crickets. Oh, what if nobody responds? What if people, and the feeling of that. So, see how nuanced this is? The feeling of that. I don't want to feel. And so, because you don't want to feel that, you don't put the thing out there. And then you end up December 2022, come Christmas, talking about 2023 is my year. But what are you doing to ensure that? How about 2022 is your year? That how about January is your month? January 2022 is your month. So you take this, and by the way, we support you. You have a whole community of witches doing the same thing with you inside of the Arrogant Witch community. So any kind of weird you feel, loneliness, fear of it, that shit dissolves rapidly because you're in community. All right. Okay. So I encourage you to come to the 5 Death Gates reveal. It's on Wednesday. The link will be beneath this video to register. Okay. So you feel that. What do you do right there when you feel, I don't want to feel that? Right? Let yourself feel it. Don't run from it. Okay, pause. Do not ever run from any feeling. This is a side bonus note. The moment you run, your power decreases. So just imagine when you run, your power decreases. And then you make a habit out of running, you make a habit out of being disempowered. That's why when you finally come to make a decision, it feels so big and hard because you have a muscle of being disempowered, making leaking power, leaking power, leaking power, and leaking power. Okay, so here you are. You're not running from the feeling. You let yourself feel the feeling of being rejected. Oh, ow. Feel it all the way. Imagine the worst case scenario. Worst case, your mama contact you and say, "What the fuck is this shit? Your cousin shared that shit with me." Just imagine the worst situation you imagine for your fear. Your brother, your husband, your wife. What the fuck? What is this? Silence. You don't get no pussy. You don't, right? What is it? You get crickets online. Somebody come and comment, what kind of demon shit is this? Just imagine whatever the thing is. Feel it all the way through. Feel it all the way in your bones. Feel it in your heart. Feel your heart hurt because they're rejecting it. Feel it in your brain. They feel it. Feel it. Feel like you getting stabbed. Rocks getting thrown at you. Feel it. Ah, feel it all the way. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Then bring it down to your genitals. You imagine you bring it down to your genitals, and it could even go up to your cranium. You could take this whatever way you want to, just stay in it. See? Because when you release it, you repress it and it goes somewhere in your body. When you take a fear and you run, you ignore, you hide, it has to go somewhere. Energy is not dying, it goes somewhere in your body. This is why you'll start to have neck pain. You'll start to have allergies. You'll start to get headaches because the energy, the fear that you're running from is somewhere in your body. And then you'll leak it out in your heart. You'll leak it out through your genitals. Your pussy will start getting dry. You'll leak it out mentally. You'll start judging other people who are doing amazing things because the part of you that you've repressed, you see it in them and it triggers an anger because it's sitting in your shadow self. It has to go somewhere. Darling, you think because you running from it and you hiding that you safe? That shit is torturing you. It's locked in your hip. That's why your hip hurt. It's locked in your back. That's why your back hurt. That's why you got erectile dysfunction because your shit is locked in your dick. So to alchemize it, you face the worst fear, the worst one, the one that you don't want to feel, not the baby one. You go to the biggest one, because when you deal with the biggest, it covers everything underneath it. Okay? You face it, you look at it, deal with it, deal with it, deal with it. Like the video, like the video, like the video. I'm over on YouTube, the Arrogant Witch channel. Okay? Then you send it down to your genitals and you feel it all away. When you start doing this right, you are approving of the feeling. Here you go. In your body, you start approving of the rejection. You approve of it. Yes, I am rejected. Like, and you're feeling this all the way. Your feelings are the key here. Anything that you feel yourself wanting to push away, you let it in. You let it in. Anything you feel yourself like, no, let it in. Let it in. Yes. Let it in. 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 This is the work. This is the work. Okay? You let it in. Whatever your thing is, because it's a different thing for everybody. You let it in. When you start doing this right, you are going to feel. For me, it's oftentimes my cervix. Oh my God. When I first started doing this, it was my clitoris. Then the more that I've done it and matured in this, it's come through my cervix. And then you'll start to feel it up your spine. You'll literally start to feel the fear that you have start to move. The electricity around it starts to move, and it comes up to your cranium, and you literally like feel it release its grip on you. When you're doing it right, this is what happens. And then suddenly, it's like, ugh, it's like something out of a movie. That's why we are drawn to things like The Matrix, where you see Neo like, wow, like he comes up out of the Matrix. Or several people have said to me, Naima, when I watched the movie The Last Dragon, which I had never seen, whenever I watch the movie Last Dragon, I think of you. I think of you and this work that you're helping us with. And finally, over the holiday, I watched The Last Dragon, and that is exactly it. So there's a scene in The Last Dragon where the bully is saying to him, who's the master? And he's like drowning him. There's a big tub of water, and the bully is putting his head underwater, and he's saying, who's the master? And who's the master? And then he brings him up for air, and he's like, and then he refuses to say, you are the master. So then the bully pushes him down in the water again. Who's the master? And earlier in the movie, this guy had been working with the master, and the master kept pointing him to himself, and he refused to look at himself as the source of the power, as the supreme power, as the one. He just kept refusing, kept refusing, kept refusing. And he kept having all these problems in life, and he couldn't make shit happen, and violence was coming against his family, and he kept feeling stuck, and he kept looking for somebody out of him, a master, a person outside of himself, to find the solution. Help me, I'm looking for the master to help me find the answer, find the solution. And he kept being disappointed, and he kept being taken advantage of, and he kept being let down. And this bully kept haunting him, coming after him throughout the whole movie. This bully kept coming after him. So at the end of the movie, this scene is happening I'm telling you about, where the bully keeps putting him under the water. And then finally, after like the third time of the bully putting him under the water, who's the master? And he pulls him out of the water. And in his mind, he's replaying all the times that the master had been pointing him to himself, pointing him to himself, pointing him to himself, pointing him to himself. And the third time that bully pulls him out of the water and says, who's the master? And before, when he was like, he just clicked. The same way I told you that when you do this alchemy right, it's like you just click up out of this fear that's had a grip on you, where you just like couldn't find your way and hiding, and I don't want to feel it enough. And he just came up out of it and clicked. And with clarity and precision, he looked at the bully and was like, I am. Ah! And then all of the power just came and he destroyed the fucking bully and came to the pristine full power. That is him. That is you. And that is what happens when one, you decide to make living uncomfortably a lifestyle, as we support you inside of the Arrogant Witch community. Number two, you do the work of alchemy, where you never run from any sensation, experience, or feeling. And let me tell you, when you start doing what we support you in doing, the radical honesty, which by the way is number two of the five death gates, the radical honesty that we have you live in, the experiences that come into your reality are enormous because the full power that you actually desire is enormous. Aren't your dreams enormous? Don't you sense that the power that will be required for you to do what you came to earth to do is enormous? This is not baby, lightweight, nothing stuff. This is what makes what we're doing here at the Arrogant Witch community so incredibly rare. It is rare. Let me tell you, last year, I say at least 15% of the folks who came into the Arrogant Witch community who were approved quit. At least 15% quit. And when I tell you what has happened for the women who have stayed, who have persevered, radical, rapid, life-changing shifts. And that is what will happen for you when you stay the course of doing this work, doing what is hard, becoming rare, becoming a force of gravity in the world, a gravitational pull, where you are able to stand in yourself so clearly, like the way you're attracted to me. You can stand like this. You can pierce like this. And if you think this video stuff is something, people get in a room with me and are like, oh my fucking God, don't you want that for yourself? For those of you who have it in your heart to help people heal, like you got it. You got it. You've always had it. You were born this way. You've been through crazy trauma that you have transformed, and you know you can help people. Darling, it is going to take power for you to truly be a presence in the world, to be a category of one, for you to be, oh my God, Black, man or woman, to be in the business of helping your people, making very good money, living powerfully, having a team. That takes power. All your fears, all the collective unconscious fears are going to come into your life. All the current binds that you have here on planet Earth that you created when your consciousness was at a lower level, all of those are going to be challenged and confronted. But I promise you, if you have been talking to your ancestors, to your guides, to the unseen that you have a relationship with, saying that you are ready for full power, that you are ready to do here what you came here to do, that you are ready to do something that the earth has yet to see. Listen, here's a, well, let me park this and add this addendum real quick. This alchemy stuff and what we're doing in the Arrogant Witch community is just the beginning. The real work and fun and play that I'm looking for us to have at master levels is beyond the Arrogant Witch community. Like to get there, and I'll pause that because that's some seriously advanced stuff. You start with alchemy. You start with doing this work, getting on camera, being compelling, because it's so true. Because you've done the alchemy to burn off all of your attachments, all of your attachment to who you think you are, fears, and all these things. It's massive. It is a huge responsibility and it's worth it. I have a question I'd like to ask you, and this is part of my closing. Please like the video. Uh, IG, hello. Every Monday, I'm over on the Arrogant Witch channel on YouTube. I invite you to come over here. I'm here every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I invite you to come over. Like the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time I go live. And then come over, and if you want to see the full video of today's transmission, come on over. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. And so I have a question that I'd like to ask you. It's a really, this is a big ass question for those of you with big ass hearts, with big ass power, with big ass responsibilities. I hope that was helpful. Was that helpful? What the analogy that I gave of the last dragon and you know what it's going to take, what alchemy looks like, what you engage in your fear. That's how you live beyond fear, by the way. Let me wrap that up, right? That's one of the ways. I'm not like that's the only way. That is a very potent way. That is one very potent way for you to learn to live beyond fear. And one of the ways that you'll do that is committing to living uncomfortably as a lifestyle. Okay. This is a reminder that on Monday, no, sorry, this coming Wednesday is the 5 death gates to full power for witches and other supernatural folk. The link is in my bio if you're on IG. And if you're on YouTube, the link will be placed beneath this video. So today I shared with you what it looks like to live uncomfortably as a lifestyle, but also you got to commit to it. You choose to commit. That's one of the 5 death gates. There are 4 more that I will be sharing on Wednesday at the 5 death gates reveal. This is a webinar. I'm going to share with you the 5 death gates so you know what to say yes to. You know what is required of you. This is where you also receive your invitation to the pioneering Arrogant Witch community. I am so excited about this. That's also where you receive your invitation to the pioneering Arrogant Witch community. This is also where I will be sharing for the first time. And you're here, if you're here now, you're hearing this. Thank you for the hearts. I am facilitating for the entire month of June, Divine Mastery in Italy. This is a prestigious, high level immersion. For those of you who love Italy, who love immersing, like if you're intense, like me, like some of my favorite members and clients, you are intense. You already have a relationship with the unseen, with the tantric world, with chaos. You already have a very deep, strong relationships with the unseen, ancestors, etc., that govern the way you move through life. And it's really important to you to be around other witches who are really living this way. So this is an advanced experience. It is fucking gorgeous. You know that I lived between Italy and France for 4 years. I am absolutely in love with Italy. It is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And so I'm going to be making a special offer that's only going to be offered at the end of the 5 death gates reveal on Wednesday. Again, to register for the 5 death gates reveal, you can click the link in my bio on IG, or there will be a link placed beneath this video on YouTube. Also, there's an audio that you can listen to now. If you listen, bitch, I want it now, right? I will place a link. Actually, it's already on IG. If you go to my bio and click, there's the Divine Mastery in Italy. There's a 23-minute audio that I created. It's beautiful. I share with you the prestigious dinners that are being designed for you, for those of you who will be receiving the invitation to join us for the entire month of June in Italy. Okay. Sharing with you, okay. I got to be careful not to, because I'm very excited about this and I love fashion. Like, yeah, listen, that's what I do in my free time is dress gorgeously, darling. Get into it, okay? So the obscure, like we taking you on some special, like you only in the know to know about these fashion situations, okay? Listen, you come back to wherever you come back to the States, you come back to London. Girl, where you get that from? Girl, Milan, girl, listen, get into it. You hear me? When I tell you guys the number of pieces, handbags, jewelry, fashion, that when I come to the United States and walk down the street, girl, where you get, girl, all right, Blue, all right. It's my thing. I study fashion design. So it's 23 minutes long because I really share with you how I fell in love with Italy. Girl, So that's on a 23-minute audio. So all of the love that I have for it, plus the transformation that will be required for you to come out of hiding. Like, yes, the beauty and the gorgeousness and the prestigiousness and the queenhood, all of that is completely, completely, thoroughly. And my goal is for you to be a category of one. My goal is for you to be one of the rare forces of natures in the marketplace. Like, that's where the fuck we're going. I'm not even interested if we're not going there. Do you understand? Okay. Thank you for the hearts, darling. Thank you for the hearts. So if you want that 23-minute audio now and you're not trying to wait to hear me share this special offer on Wednesday, there is a link in my bio, Divine Mastery in Italy. You can go listen to it and then follow the instruction if you know it's for you. And then here on YouTube, I will place the link beneath the video here. Okay, so whether you're on IG on YouTube, the links are there. But if you want to like binge watch, come on over to YouTube, you guys. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this as a replay, please like the video, subscribe, all of that. I am Witch Naima. I am here on YouTube as a reminder every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern for until Monday. Until March, until the last Monday in March. And then I'll reassess what I'm going to do from there. I welcome your questions in the comments. I'm just so in love. My life, this is my life. Understand, this is my life, what I'm doing here, sharing with you all and bringing witches and other supernatural folk out of fear, isolation, and hiding into full power, out onto the world stage, so you can do the distinct work that's in your DNA that you were born for, get you paid well for it, and have you live bone deep fulfillment. Get into it. Lots of love, and I look forward to connecting with you wherever we end up connecting real soon. Ciao.